Hey guys, it's Vicky, and today I'm here with a different kind of video. I've been wanting to do or try a new series here on my channel, and this is the first video for that. I wanted to put it out there and see what you guys thought about it, see if it's something I should continue with. What it is I want to call it Flicks and Lit, and basically talk about books that have been adapted into either films or TV shows and kind of compare them. I got the idea because that is what my local book club does. As I'm sure you guys have heard here when I talk about some of the books I read, we do that in my book club. We read a book and then we watch the movie and kind of compare them. So I will definitely be utilizing some of those discussions into some of the videos that I do for this series. But for this one, the first one, I just kind of got the idea for this one because I recently read the book and then I just watched season 1 of the series, and that book is The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. So, sit down, let's have a chat. I'm really hoping that this series will kind of be more of a discussion, and I should probably put a warning out there that things might get spoilery if you either haven't seen the show or haven't read the book or seen the show. I don't know exactly what's going to come out of my mouth because this isn't like scripted or anything, so if you're worried about possibly getting spoiled, you might want to wait and come back maybe once you have read the book and watched the show. I don't know. If you don't care, then stick around. So I read The Handmaid's Tale, the book, back in August and really enjoyed it. So I immediately wanted to watch the Hulu series because I've heard amazing things. Basically, the premise of the book is it is a dystopian society where women have basically lost all of their personal identity, and they have been kind of categorized into these different categories of women. And in this particular, our main character, Offred, is a handmaid. And what handmaids do is they bear children. And the way that they become pregnant and the way that they birth these children is very strange. And it's just her story. And what's really interesting about the story is that Offred remembers her life very clearly before this whole new society began. This new way of life has only been going on for a few years. So you are seeing her kind of deal with this transition, if you will. And it's a fascinating story. I think what the show did so well that a lot of people complained about with the book and had issue with the book was that it expands on that world. You get to know some of the characters that you didn't really touch on at all in the book, mainly because the book comes from Offred's perspective, so you're only seeing things through her scope. So the show is able to kind of go to that omniscient kind of position and show you other characters and backstories and things like that. So in that way, a lot of questions are answered because the book, because of the narrator's vision there are a lot of things that you don't ever find out about in the book. A lot of questions regarding characters, and especially the ending is very open-ended, and to the point that it frustrated a lot of people. I know. A lot of you told me that the ending was incredibly frustrating for you. If that were the case, I think you would really love the show, because the show, like I said, answers a lot of those questions. Especially, and this is where I might get a little spoilery, so sorry, you find out what happened to Offred's husband and her child, because in the book, it's a mystery. You don't know if he was killed, you don't know if he was captured, you don't know if he got away, any of that, and you find out what happened to him in the show. And I think that makes it fantastic because they were just able to dive more into the world and show you this just horrible, nightmarish world in the ways that the book didn't. I also feel like in the show, Offred, who is played by the lovely Elizabeth Moss, whom I love because I was a huge fan of her on Mad Men. Mad Men's one of my favorite shows, and I loved her on that show. So in this, obviously she's playing a completely different character, but I felt like her acting was just superb. The ways in which she would like look into the camera, and you just the look in her face and in her eyes, the way that she was just saying so much just with her eyes, I thought was just like awesome. Any awards that she has earned for this performance, she's totally earned because she was great in the show. I wanted to say also that Offred as a character in the show is definitely more rebellious, I want to say. She's definitely, especially by the end of season 1, she is definitely just kind of more ballsy, I guess. It seemed like in the book Offred was just kind of accepting this fate. I mean, in certain ways she was rebelling, but I felt like she was just kind of going along because she was terrified about what had happened to her family, and was worried that if she did something wrong that they would do something to her family. And this Offred in the show was also that way, but again, she was more rebellious, especially by the end. I also really enjoyed, I cannot remember the actress's name off the top of my head, but she played Aunt Lydia in the show. And I thought that that character in particular for the show was better. Because the aunts in the book, they're there, and obviously you know who they are, and what their role is in this society. But Aunt Lydia in the show, there's definitely a more complex person there, because she is this woman who is in charge of these other women, whom at one time she was probably an equal to, and now she's in charge of them, and she's brutal. She's brutal, she's cruel, she's tough, but she's also very protective of these girls, and they're like her children almost. And I felt like that wasn't exactly captured in the book, but I liked that they kind of took that turn with her as a character and kind of made her that way. And again, her acting was fantastic as well. I also loved how in the show they, at the end of every episode, played some sort of song from the 80s. I'm pretty sure they were all from the 80s, which I thought was great because the book was originally published in 1985. So it definitely like kind of was a nod to what at that time when the book was published was modern times. I liked that they kind of did that, and kind of just gave that nod to the original time. Really quickly, I wanted to say too, before I forget, going back to where I was talking about how the handmaids become impregnated and give birth, in the show, visually seeing that process was so cringeworthy and so uncomfortable. And I thought that that was also done super, super well. I'm excited to watch season 2 eventually someday, because season 2 is going to be completely all new stuff. You know, the book plot was basically covered in season 1, so this whole next season is going to be all new and fresh, and I'm really excited about it. So what I also want to do kind of at the end of these videos is tell you basically whether or not I think the book was better or the movie or TV show is better. Most of the time, most people say the book is always better, right? But that's not always the case, at least for me. In this case, though the book is great and is one of those kind of pioneering books in terms of like dystopia and like women's issues, I do feel like the show was better. And it was better because they were able to do more in terms of, like I said, digging into the characters, some of the secondary characters, and into that world and how it got that way. They just were able to take more time with it and to really dig into it and to really kind of modernize it, so that us watching now in 2018 can really identify with what had happened. So yes, definitely check out the TV show The Handmaid's Tale if you can. I know it's on Hulu, so it's not as easily accessible to a lot of people. I rented the DVDs from my library, so that's probably what I'll do with season 2 as well. So who knows when I'm going to watch it, because I have no idea when they're going to come out on DVD, but that's my plan. But definitely also read the book, because the book is also really, really good. And you should definitely, read the book and watch the show. But the show, I think, is more powerful in the end. Please let me know down below if you have watched the show, read the book, or whatever. I want to talk about the adaptation, how it was done, what did you like about it, what didn't you like about it, and obviously this is a series that I want to continue to do if you guys like it, so please feel free to, comment down below with any suggestions you have for adaptations that you'd like me to do. My book club has been doing this now for 5 or 6 years, so we have read and watched a lot of adaptations. So I would love to talk about them with you guys. And like I said, I'll continue to also utilize what we're doing in our book club and kind of bringing it to you guys in terms of discussion. So yes, any feedback would be greatly appreciated. But yeah, I'm excited about hopefully doing this new series for you guys. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. So I hope you guys are having a great day. And I gotta go because I gotta get dinner started. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.